What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Roundtable of Wraith. Take a seat at the table. Today we are talking Uprising. We are talking spoilers. We are talking Ninja. We just got done recording our Illusionist reaction video to all of the awesome Dromai cards and dragons and awesome things that we've seen so far. These first 3 days of spoiler season for Dromai. But now we are shifting focus. We're going to be talking about Fi, our new ninja hero, what he does and what cards we've seen so far 3 days in, and just giving you our initial thoughts and reactions on these cards. Ryan, just from, your initial thoughts, you asked me this during the Dromai video that we just did. What are your initial thoughts so far about things you've seen just in general, or the ninja cards and Fi himself?
I think he's so cool. I think LSS knocks out of the park. Right, we talked about it with Illusionist, where it captured what we perceive the Illusionist spirit to be, but kind of turned the formula on its head, yet still make it feel like Illusionist without having the same exact mechanics, which is crazy. And Fi represents Ninja so well. None of his cards have combo, yet sequencing with him and what card comes first versus which card am I looking for and playing second and when to use his ability. It's so true to Ninja form. They're just so good. I think Fi is such a cool hero. I wouldn't be surprised if he's, one of the top heroes of the meta. Just because how strong his cards just seem to be and his ability and things like that with his recursion. I'm more excited for you, Jim, as the Levia player and the Azalea player. I'm excited for you to dive into a hero that, we perceive to be good. I think it's going to be fun. But no, I think Fi is really cool. I think his ability and his cards are just sweet. And I think he's going to be really fun to play. And right now he's going to be really fun to talk about.
I agree. And so with that being said, you can see him on the screen. Let's talk about him. So we got Fi, the Rising Rebellion, which is an awesome name. Cool art on his card. You got the Phoenix kind of behind him. He represents the Phoenix. And with that being said, you can see that his passive ability is you may start the game with a Phoenix Flame in your graveyard, and we'll show you that Phoenix Flame in just a second, because his once per turn instant also relates to the Phoenix Flame card itself. Costs 3 resources. Return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less for each Draconic Chain Link you control. So in order to kind of understand Fi, you need to understand the Phoenix Flame. So if we take a look at the Phoenix Flame, it's a token, and I finally realized why they did that, Ryan. It's for draft. It's for when you draft, you don't have to get 3 of these things. I'm silly.
You're automatically with 3, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 0 cost Draconic action that reads: if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, Phoenix Flame gains +1, go again, and its base attack is 0, and it does not defend. So it's pretty interesting.
Trash.
If you have, huh?
Trash.
You said trash. No,
Yeah,
I think
it's terrible.
I think it's awesome, and it's just gonna build.
It's awesome.
Build up to get stronger. I know you were kidding. It's just gonna build on itself to get stronger. So Draconic Chain Links are going to be a theme here, and majority of these ninja cards or Draconic action cards that we talk about are going to talk about what number Draconic Chain Link things are. And so if you line this card up with Fi's ability to tutor it back into his hand, you may have some in your hand generically, or there's other cards that give you them back from your graveyard as well. It's going to be really awesome to see what concoctions or what lines players take using the Phoenix Flame card. But yeah, my initial reaction is it's a different take on Ninja, and it's awesome.
What an awesome ability too, that he gets to start with one in his graveyard. Like, such cool insight from LSS. Like, if it was just, hey, you get to recur this thing back from your graveyard for 3 resources, but you got to get it there first. No, they have one there. So the recursion starts from turn 1. That's so important for him, where he gets to just, from the gate, his ability is turned on, the aggression is turned on, and he can get this train rolling right away. I think that's so cool. It's also to have the wherewithal to print this with 0 attack base with only a +1. The max it can not. I shouldn't say that, but if you're only just playing this face value, the max it can get is +1. So you're okay. It's a Kadachi. Okay,
just face
fine.
value though.
But yeah, and there are so many buff cards that we're going to talk about and things like that we haven't seen yet that are going to make this thing even more broken. But I love the design. I think it's so cool. I'm not going to play him as much as you are. I know you're going to dive into him, but I think from a design standpoint, it's brilliant.
Yeah, even if you attack with it and it is, like a worst case scenario, you're coming in for 0 go again. It represents a Draconic chain link, which is going to be important, and so
you're going to recur.
That's going to recur throughout the game, and if it's the 3rd Draconic chain link, then this card, you can go get it from your graveyard for free, because sure, it starts off as Fi's ability starts off as a 3 cost, but if it's the 3rd chain link, then you can go get this Phoenix Flame. If it's the 3rd chain link, then it's guaranteed to have the +1.
Yep.
So if you control 2 or more, so if you go ahead and do that, then it's a 0 cost ability to play a 0 cost card to poke for an additional damage, probably more than just 1 if you line your things up correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Any other final thoughts? I'm ready to move on.
No. I'm ready to move on too.
All right, awesome. So the Phoenix Flame kicks butt. The Searing Ember Blade, I was really excited. Like all day, I kept like waiting for this card to be spoiled, because I was really interested to see how the weapon was going to interact. I really wanted a katana, and we got one. 2-handed sword, so cool. And the Searing Ember Blade reads, once per turn action for 2 resources, attack. If you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, Searing Ember Blade gains go again. So it's an attack for 3 that costs 2, that counts as a Draconic chain link, and if you had 2 or more Draconic chain links, it gains go again. So it's interesting because the sword puts you in a place where sure, you could be in a pinch where you might have to, all you can do is sword back or something like that. But most likely you're going to do some 0 cost attacks, start evolving your combat chain, and then working the sword in as well. However, how do you feel about it costing 2 in a deck that is going to want to probably play mostly reds, and most actions cost 0 or 1? Do you think people are going to use this sword frequently in their combat chains, or are they just going to see the value of playing the card in their hand instead of pitching to play for this sword?
I think this card is, on first, like when you look at this card, you're like, I wanted more, right? I think that's the natural feeling for Ninja players, was like, I was hoping for something better. But I think the more you think about it, I think this card is crazy. And the power of it is going to be revealed once you start playtesting. Fi doesn't really care about reds as much as Dromai does, because his ability doesn't hinge on playing reds. So he can afford to run some blues. And a lot of his cards, have 0 attack, or they have go again, whatever it is. So you're allowed to like pitch a blue, play a 1 cost go again, play another, 0 cost go again, whatever it is, and lead with this, and then you get to that 4th chain link. And there's cards we'll talk about either on this video or the Draconic video that show how important it is getting to the 4th chain link. I think this card is very good because it's a weapon, right? It's just it's a card that Fi always has, that gets to push him to that 4th chain link. So if if you have a dead draw and let's say you have 2 Draconic attacks in hand, or you have the ability to get the Phoenix Flame back, whatever it might be, this card's always there on link 3. It gets you to link 4. And I think that bridge is going to be so important. It's just, you look at it, 2 for 3 cost with not inherent go again, you're like, it's not that good. But I think this card is very, very good. And I think it's only going to get better with the legendaries that are going to get revealed hopefully tomorrow, or either Wednesday on the box breaks or next weekend at the latest. I think this card is the real deal.
I can see where you're saying, like, with testing, we're going to find out the true strength of this sword. And I never thought to myself that I wanted more. I just was interested to see how this was going to play into his style. And I agree with you. I do think you are not going to care so much about having all red cards in your deck, because it has nothing to do with, his ability or whatnot. But you're still going to have a high density of reds because they're going to attack for the most damage, and you're going to be aggressive. So there will be turns where that 2 cost becomes a little bit awkward, but
it's always there.
It's always there. Yeah,
that's the huge part. There is it is always chain link 3 for you to get to the big payoff chain link 4.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what's so important with this card.
All right, and then moving on from the Ember Blade, we have the Heatwave, a Draconic Ninja equipment arm. So both classes got token arms, very similar, but a little bit different in how they can be used. So Heatwave has an instant that says, destroy Heatwave, Phoenix Flames you control gain +1 until end of turn. And then it also has Quell 1, which we talked about in the Dromai or Illusionist video. At first glance, this Heatwave equipment arms looks awesome. Sure, you save it for the turn where you're going to pop off with Phoenix Flame. If you probably can set yourself up for a turn where this is going to give you your bang for your buck. That +1 is no joke. And I don't know, I think it's really awesome. I think you'd rather use it for that instant ability than destroy it from Quell, because unlike Dromai's, this is going to be used on your turn offensively if you're going to use that instant. So
don't you just play Stubby Hammerers over this card? Stubbies is banned in Blitz.
Yeah, I knew that it was banned only in Blitz, yeah.
So don't you just play Stubbies over this, and then, that's because this Stubbies applies to everything, not just
Phoenix Flames.
Yeah. So the Quell, I guess, is good, but
the Quell is good.
I like the design of this card. I like this card a lot. But if Stubbies didn't exist, then this would be a good play. I just don't know why you would play this over Stubby Hammerers. This seems more of like a draft card than
like a classic constructed option.
Yeah, as of right now.
Yeah, I could see that, and you're definitely not going to want to play the scalers or the breaking scales, because none of these cards have combo. Yeah, nothing really has combo. So finding an arm a slot option will probably be something that players test out. People will test out and play this, or they'll do the Stubby route, and we'll see if Stubbies does get taken away from classic constructed as well. Probably not, but who knows. But I think it's solid overall.
I like it. It's solid for sure. If Stubbies didn't exist, this would be a fantastic card. Yeah, especially in draft, this is going to be a great target. If you're drafting 5.
And then moving on, the first card we have. See, I'll try to jump around. I'll try to pick out the Majestics first, and then go from there. Since it's kind of our list is in all different orders. We have Spreading Flames, which is a 1-cost Draconic Ninja action attack for a base of 3 damage that defends for 2. Draconic attacks you control have +1 while their base is less than the number of Draconic chain links you control. Go again. So my brain takes a while to process, so I read that again. And so Draconic attacks you control. So your sword, your Phoenix Flame, basically any of the attacks you're probably running in this deck, aside from some of the ninja attacks that you will run because there's some really awesome ones that popped up, get +1 if their base damage is less than the number of Draconic chain links you control. So Phoenix Flame is always going to be live because it's a 0, right?
It'll always be +1. It'll always be +1, yeah.
So you want baby base damage. Do you think this card's really good?
Yeah, I think this card's insane.
Yeah. It probably turns some of these, like you said, if there are yellow versions of these cards, it probably turns some of these yellows into like the red versions.
That's where my head was going. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this card is really, really, really good. Even if just for the Phoenix Flame, but you're going to get cards that attack for 2, attack for 1, the yellow, blue, whatever it is, depending on when you play this card. But the fact that this can continuously buff, if you can somehow wait until turn or chain link 4 to attack with the sword, and now that sword gets buffed by +1.
This is the best. This might be the. Sorry to cut you off. That's rude of me, but
go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is probably the best opening attack you can start with him because it costs 1. It's a go again. It's a Draconic chain link right there. So this starts off your. We're not gonna call. It's not called a combo line via the cards, but it's basically like you said, Ryan. It's a pseudo combo based on your sync, the way that you're deciding to play your cards. But this is definitely the starting piece. Spreading Flames is a start piece to the whole system.
Does 3 on its own, does not require you to hit in order for its ability. It's a passive ability. I think this card's fantastic. Yeah, it's just really good. I think this is a 3 of, and any Phi deck that you run, this is an automatic 3 of. This card's really, really, really good.
It's really cool. I like it. I think it's really awesome.
I mean, so it has go again. It's a Draconic card. So now Phi's ability costs 2. So you're guaranteed, a 2-cost Phoenix Flame. If you play another, which you're going to, you play another Draconic. Now Phi's ability costs 1. You grab Phoenix Flame, and now it's attacking for 2 instead of 1 with go again.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, this card's really, really good.
The other majestic Draconic Ninja attack action card that was spoiled is Phoenix Form, which costs 0. And so the last card was kind of like the starter of your chain links attacks. This might be something you play at the end.
This is so Rune Blade that
or
you're
in the
read
middle. It is very Rune Blade. It reminds
Swarming
me.
Gloomveil.
Yeah, it reminds me of that card a lot. If you control 1 or more Phoenix Flames, Phoenix Form has go again. If you control 2 or more, it has +2. And if you control 3 or more, it has when this hits a hero, draw 3 cards. So you have to set this up. Well, you have to set this up at least. I don't know, man. I feel like you would need to set this up. You want all 3 to pop off if you really could do this.
I don't think you want all 3.
Go ahead.
I mean, the 0 for 5. If we're talking about card evaluation, 0 for 5 on hit, draw 3 is the most broken card that has been printed.
Sure, but it's going to be hard to set up.
Yes, I agree. So I think you're always going to be good with, depending on what your follow up is, 0 for 3 go again.
0 for 3 go again is good.
Yeah, on the end of the chain, you're going to run 3 of these. Obviously, I mean that's not even a question. And then 2 Phoenix Forms is not difficult to get up to. So more than likely, you're playing this as a 0 for 5 go again, which is crazy.
2 Phoenix
Right.
forms is not difficult to get up to because of cards that we haven't shown you
Yes.
yet. So there's
zero,
other
I
ways
think,
to get it back besides
yeah.
Fi's hero ability.
So I think a 0 for 5 go again. Your goal is 2. I think that's your goal, right? If you
But-
can get this up to a 0 for 5 go again, you're in. That's broken. And then if you do have Christmas Land where you get the 0 for 5, draw
it
3
hits.
cards, you win the game. I like
We
li-
probably
like,
do.
Yeah, like literally, like if you get the 0 for 5, draw 3, you win the game. That's crazy. But I think if you realistically, I think 2 is set upable, and I think that's a realistic goal. And then in which case it becomes a 0 for 5 go again, and that's so above rate. That's insane. So yeah, this card is cracked. It's fantastic, and it blocks for 3. This is going to be a very expensive Rainbow Foil Majestic.
Nah, I'm getting them all, baby.
Of course you are. Yeah, I'm just saying this is like you don't have to worry about Marvels like I do, but this is going to be a very pricey card. This card's, I mean, it's a very good card. You want to pull this card. This card's fantastic. If you're playing Fi,
The art on it is sick.
It's so good. It's so good. You have to run all 3. If you're playing Fi, you have to run all 3. That's cut and dry. Have to run all 3 of these cards. Insane. It's another like it's a cool card. I like cards like this. Like I like cards like this. I don't have a problem with them. They're just so cool.
It does remind me of Swarming Gloomveil. That's a good call.
It's so Runeblade, which you should be ashamed of yourself, but it's
cool.
Still.
It's sick.
you deserve a Swarming Gloomveil.
Yeah. I know before we go, I want to do the rares next and then the commons. And the rare I really want to talk about is the art that everybody loves. And they all thought, oh, that'd be so sick if the lady in the middle was like the hero. But it's Rise from the Ashes, which is a Draconic Ninja action, a 0 cost. The next Draconic or Ninja attack action card you play this turn gains +3, so there's your typical buff of 3. The kicker, though, is you may return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand, go again. So that is amazing. So that's another way to get a Phoenix Flame back that's not Fi's ability, plus you're getting the buff of +3. And cards like this are still great because it's not increasing their base damage. It's just buffing the next Draconic or Ninja attack, and then you're getting a Phoenix Flame back from your graveyard. So sure, I feel like, don't you think on almost every turn, or how many 2 of 3 turns you're going to be playing Phoenix Flames? Like, are you, like, is the goal to constantly play them?
I mean, like my ignorant non-ninja brain says yes. Like you're gonna wanna, like, as long as you have resources, like you're gonna be able to, I mean, it's just chip damage. You're gonna want to do it consistently, especially if you can add them back in your hand. And my assumption is this comes in yellow and blue.
If that's the case, that's awesome.
Yeah, this might be a 9 of, just because this is the recursion that Fi wants. Plus, it's just damage buff. So you go kind of, +0, really. Like you're playing this card, you're getting another card back, so you're fine. Yeah, this card is very, very good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, especially with like what Fi's trying to do. Like this is just just a +3, get your card back that you're trying to get. This card's
Classic Ninja Faction, good card. Only blocks for 2, but that's totally fine for what we're getting.
It's like Plunder Run, but like
well,
it doesn't require a block, so it's not as like pressuring as Plunder Run, but you're still going positive. Like you're gaining the card back for playing, and you're getting the +3 buff. So you're not. It's just a free +3. That's pretty. Free +3 is pretty crazy.
It's basically like if you started with this and then you went into a spreading flame, like then that spreading flame becomes like a 1 for 5. Then pull the Phoenix Flame out of your graveyard, and then that Phoenix Flame's gonna get +1 because their base is less than the number of the chain links that you control, and so it's just like, oh man, this is gonna be some really awesome interactions and combos.
And now
that people
now
see.
you saved your resources, so now you can attack with your sword.
Your sword, yeah. Then yeah, exactly. So then, essentially, getting the Phoenix Flames back multiple times. This card, I don't know if it's a 9 of yet or where it stands, but you're definitely probably going to live in a world where you're going to want to run the reds and the blues. Minimal. Or
Yeah,
like,
it's, I would say it's almost for sure a 6 of.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And then the next 2 rares that we got today at the very end of the day is Engulfing Flame Wave. Cost 2. Interesting. Cost 2. That's a lot. When Engulfing Flame Wave hits, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card with cost less than the number of Draconic chain links you control, banish it. You may play it this turn. Go again. I think that's pretty good. Giving you access to more cards is solid, but it's got to hit. However, it's got to hit to do that, but it still comes with go again. And we're so used to Ninja needing on hit to go again. This is a 2 cost with go again for 5, where if it hits, you're getting an extra card to play with this turn potentially.
I think this card's really, really good. I think this is going to be one of the cards that you're going to have to test to see, like, where is my cost ratio? Like, is this affordable? But I think the payoff for this, like, the go again not being dependent on the hit is amazing, because like your opponent's going to be in such a bad spot because they're like, well, I don't want you to go plus cards because like it would be terrible, so I have to block this. And then you have go again anyway, so you just continue to go down the train, and now I'm 2 less cards from my hand, and you can get to chain link 4 where all the bad shit happens. Sorry, LSS. The bad stuff happens. I think this card is Pressure City.
It reminds me a lot of when Katsu would start his combo
it's very Surging Strike.
It's very Surging Strike.
But I think this is even more like this is so Surging Strike because it's like it's just Pressure City, right? And I love either like when I play Flesh and Blood, I love either Pressure City or I love Defensive City. Like I like being either like the control guy or the most aggro guy, and this is the most aggro guy card. Whether or not it fits, this is putting your opponent to a decision early. They know that you're going to play more cards later down the road. Like you get access to more cards after this, and they don't have that information, and this is putting them in a bad spot. So
it's making them want to block this, but geez, it's a great card.
It's Pressure
City. We might as well name this card Pressure City, but I think this Engulfing Flame Wave 2 costs a lot, but if you build this deck a lot, it's like
I think this is like Katsu was like, okay, I can go get Whelming, and then as the player, you're like, I know he's getting Whelming, so now I can commit my resources to blocking Whelming. This is like, I don't know what's coming off the top.
Yeah, but neither does the player. It might
miss, but it's also 5 damage.
If you hit another Engulfing Flame Wave and this is attack number 1, then it misses.
And even if they swing and miss, they're still going again. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they're still going. This card's great. I like Pressure City. I like it. All
right, so in Engulfing Flame Wave, we're stamping as good. And then the other rare we got was Mounting Anger, which is a 1 cost, blocks for 2. attacks for 4. When mounting anger hits, you may banish an attack action card from your hand with cost less than the number of Draconic chain links you control. If you do, it gains +1, and you may play it this turn. So this is also really good, I think.
I think this card's an auto 3 of.
Like this is really solid because 1 for 4 is a breaking point. So and if it hits, then you already have it in your hand. So then you just banish it with a cost less than the number of Draconic chain links you control. Most of your stuff costs 1 or 0. So if you play this as chain link 2 or even 1 sometimes, based on what your hand looks like, you know the card that you're gonna banish, giving it +1 and then playing it this turn. That's amazing.
I think this card's insane.
Yeah,
I think this card's like really, really good.
None of these cards block. Dude, Fi is the new aggressor. Like, for real, for real.
I agree. I think this is another Pressure City card. But also, the 1 cost makes it so much, more affordable. This card's really good, I think.
And we don't know if this is going to be in the various colors, right?
Correct. I haven't checked the gallery. I don't know yet.
I don't know yet either.
As of this recording, I don't think the Ninja gallery was updated.
No, it's like not.
I don't think so. But I don't know if this would be worth running anything other than red.
Yeah, because then it doesn't hit that breaking point.
Yeah, the 3 block is too easy. We haven't. I mean, you do get ancestral empowerment.
Yeah,
but you do get ancestral is a thing.
Ancestral is a thing, and it's a really good thing too.
And it's a red. I mean, it fits. So, I don't know. I just think this card face value. I think this card's very good. I like this better than the 2 for 5.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think this card. Yeah, I do.
I like them both.
I like them both too. I like this card just a little bit better. 1 cost, I think, goes a long way. 2 costs.
Yeah, it does. It totally does. It totally does. All right, so then moving on to some commons.
We have the generic Majestics. Do we want to talk about those, or you save?
Yeah, I want to save those for after we talk about all the Draconic Ninja we got, and then we'll talk about those because they do definitely have a place in here. And I think you're going to want to include them in your deck. Okay, so we have Cinderskin Devotion. Thank God these cards are easy to say. Like, I was trying to read those dragon names while you were reading them. I could not have led that podcast without like butchering every single one of those dragons' names. All right, Cinderskin Devotion is a 1 cost Draconic Ninja attack action card that attacks for 4, blocks for 3. If you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, Cinderskin Devotion gains Go Again. So pretty interesting. Face value, it's a 1 for 4 with no Go Again, but if you line it up right and you combo this card, it's a 1 for 4 with Go Again. That blocks for 3. That's pretty crazy. 1 for 4 with Go Again if played as the third or more chain, or if it's played as the 3rd chain link, because you have to control 2 or more Draconic chain links, then it gains Go Again. This card is awesome as a common. But setting it up is going to be its downfall, right? Like it can't be played as 1 and 2. So interesting. What do you think about this card?
I think this is the card that you hope comes in blue. This is one of the cards.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think you want this as a red, because there's so many better red options out there. But I think as a blue, you're okay with
a 1 for 2.
1 for 2, block 3, and then you still get the claws, right? At this point, if you're playing it on Chainlink 3 or more, you don't really care if it hits.
You just want to have Go Again.
Yeah,
so you just want to get to that 4th magical chain link.
So I think you don't look at this as red. I don't think you look at this as yellow, but I think this is a blue staple.
Interesting. That's a good take, and I didn't think about that. And I kind of agree with you on that. So good take on
Draconic, it's ninja. I think it gains the same thing. You don't care about the 1 for 4 because you can get that better elsewhere.
and it doesn't need to hit. It doesn't have like any on hits.
No, yeah, and the 3 block is crazy for a blue. So I think this is a blue staple in Fi. I don't think you play this as any other colors.
Well, here's a card that's extremely similar, and you might like this one even more because it doesn't cost anything. Lava Vein Loyalty, and it's got two bros, like
just bros being bros,
exchanging their lava that's pouring out of their veins.
Bros.
They're just ninja broing down, and it reads the same. If you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, Lava Vein Loyalty has go again. Blocks for 3, attacks for 3. So that means the blue of this would attack for 1. Like you stated before, everything stated on this last card could be stated again, but it doesn't cost anything. This is a 0 cost card.
I think if you're looking for my opinion, I think this is another blue staple. I don't think you run this in red. I don't think you run this in yellow. You might be able to get away with running this in red, depending on what the deck makeup looks like.
Yeah, it depends on what your deck looks like.
Sure, but I think this is an absolute blue staple.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you can get blues that that don't require on hits, that can hit you to chain link 4 depending on the circumstance, but also pitch for 3 and block for 3. If you can get those in your deck, I think those just become absolute staples. And I again, a 0 for 3 is better than the 1 for 4. I don't think you ever run that 1 for 4, whatever that card was called. I don't think you ever run that in red. This, you might have a little bit of an argument because of the 0 cost, but I think you're able to fill out your deck with cards that are just way better than this, and this fills that blue hole so nicely that it just becomes a staple.
And I like the 0 cost because then when you do think about cards like that we've looked at, like that Engulfing Flame Wave, where if they do let that hit, and then off the top, let's say you start with that, and then off the top you flop this, which costs 0, so you have 1 Draconic Chain Link because you played Engulfing Flame Wave. Then you get to banish this, and you may play it this turn. So like you said, if you were to run to reds, and you flop this off the top from a whatever, the Engulfing Flame Wave, then that's like free cheese. Like, I don't know.
Or Spreading Flames that says Draconic attacks you control have +1 while they have base attack less than the number of Draconics. This is a 0 for 1 that now automatically becomes a 0 for 2, which is crazy value.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you might want the reds and blues of this depending on builds.
I think you definitely want the blues. The reds will depend on what the rest of the deck shapes up to be, but I think you definitely want the blues.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that. I agree with that statement. And it's got a Fi quote on it, which is pretty cool. So, burn bright or burn out. We burn together.
Yeah. Let's touch forearms, bro.
All right, I think one more Draconic Common Ninja card, and then we're going to talk about the Majestic Ninja cards we got and wrap this bad boy up. So we got Rising Resentment, a Draconic Ninja action attack, costs 0, only blocks for 2, and attacks for 3, the red. When Rising Resentment hits, you may banish an attack action card from your hand with cost less than the number of Draconic Chain Links you control. We've seen that before. We've seen that before. If you do, it costs 1 less to play, and you may play it this turn. This is going to be a Pressure City card. This is how you get a card out of somebody's hand that they don't want to lose. You play this card, and if they let it hit, then you're going to get to banish a card, and it's going to cost 1 less. So you could banish a 1-coster, but you may banish an attack action card from your hand with a cost less than the number of Draconic Chain Links you control. So if you play this as Draconic Chain Link 2, then you could banish a 1-coster, right? It has to be less than, not equal to right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
It
so
has to be less. Yeah.
so it's pretty solid. I mean, obviously you don't care about this for pitching a 0 because if it doesn't matter if it costs less. But at the same time, making this be a second attack on a chain link is interesting. I don't know. Where did they only gave it a 2 block, so they feel like it's pretty. They think it's pretty solid. They didn't give it a 3 block like the other cards we saw. So what do you think about this?
They do. This card's like pressure town. It's not as scary as the other ones that we talked about. I do like this card. Again, this would be more where once we see the full, spectrum of what
Of everything,
Fi is going to be having, like this may not make the cut just because he's got so many other cards. Like this looks decent, but it doesn't necessarily like. I don't know. I don't feel as threatened by this card as I do the other cards that we talked about. This card's fine.
It's fine, and at the end of the day, the text is just sprinkle on the cake, dude. It's a 0 for 3 go again, reminiscent of
which is we like that.
Yeah, we like that. I mean, that just starts this whole party off. So a 0 for 3 go again, even if you're not getting the text, is a solid way to start your turn. The question is it solid enough compared to the other options that we have? And I think that's what we'll find out. So I agree. I think the upside is interesting. Will it make the cut? Perhaps not, but once we see the full scheme of things, they obviously gave it 2 block compared to the other 2 cards.
I was going to say the 2 block is sus, and that's something to like take into consideration too. Like, is he going to need those, or how's he gonna deal with pressure? I mean, he's going to paper cut and he's going to be very aggressive, but like, is he going to be like, how's he going to handle like a deck like Briar? Like with these 2 blocks,
or he's gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle mightily against like Ice Lexi.
Right, Lexi's gonna be She's gonna be in good shape. Like this meta, I think, which is cool for
Ranger players,
Levi and Ranger players. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, where do the 2 blocks and the 3 blocks? That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Especially with a class that wants to go wide, where you might be able to, use one to cover up one attack, but then have the rest of your. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where those fall into play.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up with. We got 2 more Majestics, but these are not Draconic Ninja attacks. They are just ninja attacks, and both of them are pretty cool. Let's do Take the Tempo first, which is pretty cool because I mean, it kind of looks like Katsu. I'm not, missed the homie a little bit there on that one, but and he's like slicing necks and stuff. So Take the Tempo is a 1 cost ninja action attack, blocks for 3, attacks for 5. When Take the Tempo hits, if you've hit 3 or more times this combat chain, which is you've had to have hit, that's not easy. Banish the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card, you may play it until the end of your next turn. So they're giving you options as to when you can use that extra card that you get. But having to have hit 3 or more times is pretty interesting. This combat chain, so does that 3 or more times count as this card itself? No. When Take the Tempo hits,
yeah, it does.
Yeah, because it does count. So you will only have had to have hit twice prior to this.
Correct.
This card is gonna scare people.
I don't think this is a Fi card. I think
it's
this
interesting.
I think this is a Kodachi card. So I don't think, unless Fi comes out and starts running Kodachis, I don't think this is a Kodachi card. I'm
It's
sorry,
not
a
a
5 card.
Draconic Ninja
I think this
Chain
is
Link.
correct. Yeah, I think this is a Katsu card, or it'll find its home somewhere. 1 for 5 seems pretty good with a solid on hit.
This is like a prime like turtle shell Katsu who claps back for like pitch a blue Kodachi attack for 5.
Fi is going to hit a lot with the Phoenix Flames and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he can risk not running Draconic cards that don't have go again. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, there are better finishers that he has, or
this would be a setup card. Like if you'd have to arsenal this and pop off with a Fi turn and then play this as the cake at the end.
Yes, and having the ability to, work with a potential 6 card hand is pretty crazy. I just don't think I don't know. I just think that this takes too much. So many things have to go right in order to get the benefit from this card, where I think Katsu just has an easier time with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. I mean, we'll see where it goes, but definite like on hold card. But what are your thoughts on Double Strike, the 0-cost ninja action attack that blocks for 2, attacks for 1? That reads, when Double Strike's Chain Link resolves, banish it. You may play it this combat chain. If you do, it loses this ability.
This card I think is insane. The fact that it's not Draconic makes it fair. Because
if this was Draconic, this would be busted, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the most valuable card like in the set. I think this card is crazy. It just gets you to where you need to get on pretty much any time. It says, "Oh, if you hit 3 or more times this chain link or this whatever." This card's very, very good. It's definitely an auto include in any Katsu deck as a 3 of. I think it might be a 5 card too. I know a lot of things that he wants are Draconic cards or Draconic chain links, but we'll see. I 0 for essentially 2, and you're getting it. This is a Kodachi in a card. You're guaranteed Kodachi attacks in a card because you get to go again both times. I don't know. This is just very good card, I think. We'll see if Fi wants to run it. I think Katsu definitely does. I might. But we'll see. I think this card's insane.
So let me ask you just to peek at something really quick here. This is where it gets interesting. And I know we're not going to talk about these cards until the Draconic episode. But that rupture keyword where it says if whatever is played as Chainlink 4 or higher, rupture doesn't give a darn. Sorry, LSS. Rupture doesn't give a darn if it's Draconic Chainlink or not. So this instantly gets you to like 2 Chainlinks, right?
Correct. This gets you to Chainlink 3.
It gets you to Chainlink 3, and then if you have one card that has go again, then that 4th card comes in with Rupture, and it's like really solid. Yeah, this might still be a 5 card.
Yeah, so if you're building around Rupture or you have Rupture cards in your deck, this especially, I mean, if you're a ninja building around Rupture, this is a Rupture card, yeah. Because it doesn't have to hit. You just have to get to Chainlink 4, and this is guaranteed to get you to Chainlink 3 for free.
It's essentially, it's essentially a 6-card hand, right? You play or a 5-card hand. You play it
5-card hand.
It still counts as the chain link. You play it again. It's 2 chain links.
Go again
for
3.
0, and then you have a full. That's wild. Go again with 3 cards in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all the Ninja / Draconic Ninja cards that we've gotten so far. Wrapping up my final thoughts is just I'm super hyped. I think he on first glance is like super cool. he looks like he's going to be a pest. And I also think he has weaknesses, which I think is important. I think he's going to not want to block. He doesn't block well. He's going to struggle against decks that punish with on-hit effects. So, yeah, he's going to pressure, but he's going to open the door for people to also pressure him in a different way. I think like the new wizard, Icelander, is going to really be a problem for Fi, because giving frostbites and slowing him down and making him change the way that he wants to do his turn is going to be an issue. What do you think?
I think he's designed, like I said at the beginning of the recording, I think he's just designed really well. I think he carries the spirit of Ninja in a different way. We assumed he was going to have combo in some capacity, and he doesn't. But yet, sequencing with him is just so important, and which I just love that they did that. The flavor is still there, yet he feels completely unique, which is just so cool that they were able to do this. So I'm excited to see what people, and especially you, what you do with him and how you build him. And I'm excited to see what he can do on the table. So yeah, I really like Fi.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited for myself. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited because we got some deals in the works. We'll be trading cards and foiling each other's decks out. So,
Yeah.
With that being said, that was Ryan. This was Jim. This was our thoughts on the Ninja, Draconic, and regular cards that we've seen spoiled so far. And until the next time, peace out.